What's going on, guys? It's Brad Hannon.
And Sean Noonan, and welcome to the Insurance Sucks podcast.
Man, are we having some fun today? Aside from talking about some poop, we've got, just kidding, guys. We've got Sandra Gebhardt on here in a little bit. Always exciting to have fun with her. We're talking about all things mindset, becoming your authentic self, getting over self-doubt, all of those good things. We've got Super Bowl picks. We've got
Tom Brady
word
retiring.
on Tom Brady retiring. We're going to talk about what the heck this freaking thing is. So we've got a great episode for you. Stick around and check it out. First things first, Sean, we just got a shipment in. You know more. This is my shipment today, not your shipment.
It's the first time yours came in first.
Yours will be here Monday. Yeah. But why don't you describe what the flip these things are? Because we found out, and you'll find out later on the episode, that they're not cell phones.
They're not?
Okay? They're not.
Oh, oops. I thought this was the new innovative, because the 90s are back.
Yeah, it's the brick.
Yeah, so we brought the brick back. No, it's not a brick, contrary to popular belief. These are Awair, I think that's how you say it. Awair elements. Awair, Awair.
Because you're like aware of the air quality?
That could be it. Who knows?
Yeah. Plus, it's the way it's spelled.
Right. I mean. But what these are, they're air quality monitors, essentially. And as exciting as that is, they're actually a way to mine cryptocurrency. And they mine what's known as planets. So essentially what the whole concept of these are is They came to be, and it's cool because the city of Miami actually signed a deal recently for like $10 million to set a bunch of these up around the town. But the whole concept of kind of like
Miami?
Miami.
Oh, man, their air quality sucks.
Well, that's why they need to know.
Yeah. But it doesn't clean, though.
No,
it just tells
you.
So it's like, well, I could have fucking just told Miami that their air quality sucks. You didn't need to install these things to monitor it.
Correct. But if you're trying to make progress, you need to track where you're at. So, right. But the whole concept is, trying to get to like a smart city. It's been in talks for years, probably for the last decade. They've talked about making smart cities, and that's having almost like every bit of information at your fingertips. And while that may scare some people, like it's absolutely going to happen eventually. I don't know if we'll have the Jetsons in our lifestyle.
We can freaking be in the metaverse talking about smart cities.
Exactly. But what they've done is they've created these monitors essentially. And the best way to get them out to the masses is by rewarding people and by setting up their location. It monitors the air that you're in. You can set them up inside or outside. And it rewards you on a daily basis with the planet token, which it's only like 20-something cents right now. But as we know with crypto, a lot of things that started at a couple cents.
Has it gone down with everything else?
Yeah. I mean, Bitcoin drives everything.
What's the all-time high on it? Do you know?
47, I believe. 47 cents.
A couple of quarters, 50 cents.
Yeah, and these are mine, or not mine. These are new.
These are mine.
These are new. I think Planet's mining has only been around since like September, so it's super early on in the concept.
Well, you know us, always on the cutting edge.
Dude,
right?
I mean, we're such innovators in the tech business,
right? So basically, I'll give you my story. Right, this is a thing that you install and you don't even install. You just plug it in your house. You connect to your Wi-Fi to make you like $6, $8, $10 a day. Every day. So I bought 1,000 of them. And if you're out there and you have Wi-Fi in your house, you too could have one of these. I'll send it to you. You're not going to make any money, but I'll tell you about your air quality. Okay. So I've got 1,000 of these to go out to the first 1,000 viewers that no, I'm just kidding. I bought 10 of them. Right. I'll put one here in the office. I'll put one at the house, put one at all my friends' houses. They won't even know it. I'll just like go in, plug it in, throw it under their bed. But it tracks temperature. It tracks humidity.
Yep.
It tracks CO2, which is cool because we actually have a CO2. We don't have it plugged in anymore. We used to have a CO2 detector plugged into our kitchen because we had a golf cart. If you have a golf cart at home, one of those old box chargers, right? They can actually emit CO2. And so one day, thing was going off. I'm like, what the heck? Why is it going off? It was going off because the golf cart charger and the garage doors closed and it was emitting CO2. So it detects CO2, which is good. Yep. VOCs, which is chemicals. So don't put this in front of an air freshener if you want to measure, the the actual,
which is where ours in the office currently is.
As long as it freaking reaps rewards, that's all that
right.
really matters. And then particulate matter. So if you do care about your air quality, great thing. We're not sponsored by these guys at all. We should. I'm going to send this to them. Maybe they'll send me an extra couple of these things. But if you don't give a shit about your air quality and you just like to make, $6 to $10 a day, I've got these for sale on the low. Or you can just go to their website and buy them at like Awair.com. Just search it.
Yeah, it's like 3-4 months out for orders. If you want one sooner, they resell for like $1,000 on eBay. But that's how we came about them originally. The resale group that I'm in posted these, and I was like,
"Oh yeah, here he goes." He's like, "Oh yeah, this is how we came about them. I found them and then told Ben."
Well, I mean, that's how it happened. So, but I like the concept of the passive income, just plug and play. In mind, I think they're really cool. So it's a concept that could tank. It could blow up. Who the hell knows? But it's an investment. It's a risk. It's fun. It's interesting. And at the end of the day, it requires zero effort other than setting it up.
And what's really the risk? I mean, let's be real. It's a couple $100. If you're just buying one of these things, it's not really a risk. Like you buy it. It's how much was it? Was it again?
$300.
$300, right? You buy the thing for $300.
So you spent $300,000 on your $1,000.
Yeah. It's all good though. I'll make $500,000 a month off of it easy. So
perfect. No, you'll own all the planets. You'll be the solar system.
I will own the solar system. So if it's $300, right? Let's just go
48 days.
48 days.
At current prices is for your ROI, your return on investment.
Let's see how accurate that is. 48 times 6. 288. Yeah, you're damn close, right? I'm going to go with a more modest estimate of $5 a day that it's mining, right? It's 300 divided by 5. That's 60 days. So worst case scenario, 2 months, you've got your money back on this thing. This is not financial advice, guys. If you want to freaking make some passive income, these things are cool. But what else are we doing for passive income, man? I know there's big news in crypto. We don't even have to go to the passive income stuff. There's just like crypto is tanking right now. We are aware of it. What the hell's causing it?
A lot of things. You got market sentiment, which is down, which is just the general, people's thoughts on the market. The stock market's down. There's been a lot of stuff, unknown stuff with the Fed as far as whether they're going to raise rates, not raise rates. You've got Russia, who was talking about banning cryptocurrency and crypto mining in general. I think they make up like 15% of Bitcoin.
It would be great
mining.
if they did ban mining, because China banned mining, and now I know of somebody trying to bring, how many did I say?
970,000.
970,000 freaking Bitcoin miners into the United States.
Outrageous. That's you could power a fucking city.
That person probably might live in Russia though.
Probably.
Like that sounds like something Russians would do.
Yeah.
Own a million freaking Bitcoin miners.
Well, they got to stay warm somehow, so those things kick off some heat.
So we're getting. Oh, that's actually how that's what they said. They do with them. They take them to like manufacturing plants and stuff, and they set the Bitcoin miners up in manufacturing plants so that
they use the heat to keep
they shut off their
yeah.
heat. Those things put off the heat, so it's saving them money on their electric there. But it's obviously it's a cost no matter what. But we're getting into some fun stuff today, right? Like I said, we got Sandra. Did I mention we're talking about Tom Brady?
You did.
Yeah, we're talking about Tom Brady. We've got a lot of mindset stuff from Sandra, a lot of marketing. She actually did she give away? I forgot if she actually gave away. Oh yeah, she did. She's speaking at a big event, right? Yep. The biggest one she spoke at. And she gave that away here first. She's probably posted by the time you're watching this. She might have already posted and announced it. But,
I would hope so.
Yeah, otherwise they're going to find out here first, right? You heard it here first. But man, we're just having a blast, and I love the ability to talk on the Insurance Sucks podcast about silly things like this. And I think that the insurance community as a whole, like I talk about all the time, right? We're well organized when it comes to getting trainings and things like that. I want to know like what other people are doing for passive income on the side. I want to know like this is cool, man. Just to be able to set this thing up. And I know you've got your helium miners, right? So like you can just set something up and it's making me some money, right? Even though people might argue, oh, it's a token, it's not money, but then you convert it to money. And
yeah, but I mean, the US dollar is also just a number on a computer.
It's true.
For the most part.
It's true. What do you think about the metaverse?
I think it's very interesting.
Do you think you want to be an insurance broker in the metaverse? Or you want to do something different?
I don't know if they sell insurance policies. Maybe that could be our thing. We'll sell insurance policies.
God, you heard it here first, guys.
So when your Meta Kingdom gets deleted and your CryptoPunk gets stolen, we'll have an insurance policy in the metaverse for you.
Holy shit.
Pay out
Eric,
on
cut this part out. Okay, I don't want this out. I don't want
copyrighted. Make sure you get that.
You heard it here first. Like, this is our idea. I think you could be on to something, dude.
We could be.
That would be huge. And the reason why I say that is because I know, so I have a friend of mine who's big into crypto. I mean, he was mining Bitcoin off a laptop when you could do that, 10 years ago. He said he had 15 computers or something above a car wash where he had Wi-Fi, and he was mining Bitcoin on laptops and raking it in, like crushing it, right? He's a multi-millionaire. He may, some say, I don't know, he may be a billionaire. The most unsuspecting dude ever, though. But he's not at all, he doesn't push back against these things that are kind of inevitably going to happen, right? Like, my dad, or like, I'm not picking on my dad. I'm just saying, like, a lot, like dads out there, like older guys or whatever, like, oh, the metaverse, give me Facebook, it's not even real. Get the, whatever. But it's like, okay, it's real. And if you're first to that market, then you're going to reap a great reward. But long story short, I digress. The point is that he talked about starting a real estate brokerage in the metaverse, right? So they are and they're actually building it. Like Dan Fleshman, I think that's how you say his name. Travis Bott, actually, if you've ever checked out Justin's podcast, he had the Bull Evans, Jeremiah the Bull Evans. So they just did a podcast together talking about the metaverse. But they're literally taking steps towards starting a real estate brokerage for the metaverse. Yeah,
it's crazy. It's insane the time we live in. But I mean, we're in a digital age. Everything's only becoming more digital. Crypto is a massive part of that. And while I don't understand the metaverse and I don't understand the appeal to it, I don't deny its existence. And I think you're foolish if you just cut off that. Like, if you don't want to invest or something into that's fine because you don't understand it. But it's a real thing. There's people that are making millions of dollars doing this. There's also people that are losing tens of thousands of dollars as well, too. So you definitely have to do your due diligence. But, I mean, the metaverse is here to – I don't know if it's here to stay, but it's definitely here.
What's your favorite NFT hot take right now?
I am not a big NFT guy. I want to get into it.
No, but I know you're trying. So I am trying. If you were going to buy, if you had, funds to buy any – okay, we got to take the apes out of it, right? Bored Apes doesn't count, but any NFT that you could buy right now, money didn't matter. Which one would you go for?
See, and even the big ones, I'm not big on the names. What I think is interesting, and the one that I just found recently, just released, it's called the Champions on Solana. It's like 200 Sol or something now is what the floor is. They minted at $1. You had to be on the whitelist to get them. But what people don't understand about NFTs, because they think they're just pixels, they think they're just pictures. It's so much more than that. People are using these as basically your ticket into a club. And these clubs have their networking events, their other investors, their white label option or whitelist options to get into games that are coming out. Because to me, that's the utility of an NFT. This is my pass to get into this group, or there's a game coming out and this is my ticket to get into the game early, or in order to play the game you have to have one of the NFTs, and you can either rent mine or I'll play on mine and earn. So like I think NFT gaming is absolutely the next big thing. And it's fascinating to me.
Well, and by an NFT, you could be like, it could be like an outfit that your player's wearing, or like a certain gun package or whatever. We talked about that, I think, with Camper a little bit, like the skins and things like that.
I mean, I don't know if I'm the first person to say this. It's a thought that literally just came into my mind because we're going to be talking football later. But what happens in 5 years when the only way to get into the Super Bowl is if you have an NFT? Shit. And guess what? People that sell Super Bowl tickets, like, you have to worry about that ticket getting physically damaged or destroyed.
Right.
I mean, what happens if you hold the first Super Bowl NFT ticket?
I think we're probably 10, less 15, than. I think we're less than that 5 years. I think we're way less than that off of, for some sort of you get to go to the halftime show if you have this NFT, or like there's going to be some big partnership with things like that. I mean,
correct.
Gary Vee talks about it all the time. He's one of the obviously big players in that.
Huge,
It's
yeah.
gonna. I mean, we're talking probably in the next 3 years would be my guess.
Correct.
Right.
And
Like,
it's a digital ticket, and people lose physical items. And to me, like, there's so much utility.
not that if you
behind
buy
them.
a fucking ticket to the Super Bowl, you're only going to get a paper copy, and you're not
You
going to
know
get a
what?
real
Yeah,
ticket.
yeah.
Like,
But,
I think you get a real ticket and a digital copy
Yeah.
too. But I know what you mean. Like, it's on the blockchain, right?
Correct.
You can't go away. It's traceable. It's trackable to you. Like it.
Correct. And it now becomes a better collector's item as well too, because people collect fucking everything, we've learned.
Yeah. Who is your pick for the Super Bowl? Just kidding. Don't say it. You got to stay to the end. I'm kidding, right? We talk about that later. At the end, we're going to talk about our Super Bowl picks, who we think, what do we think about the Tom Brady thing. I, for one, will just tell you I'm a Tom Brady fan. So
Such a fanboy.
You know,
Such a fanboy.
we'll see.
Yeah.
But let's talk to Sandra for a little bit. Let's bring her on and let's make it happen.
Let's go.
All right, and we're back, and you know what it is. We got one of my favorite people. I can't say my favorite, but one of my favorite people, at least top 5 favorite people in the United States of America or the world, Sandra mother flippin' Gebhardt. What's up, Sandra? How are we?
Wow. Good.
I wanted to save some of the fun stuff we got to talk about for like the actual podcast and not, before. So you don't really need an introduction, but I'm going to give you the floor. Tell people who you are if they don't already freaking know you.
Hey, okay, I can do that. My name's Sandra Gebhardt. I live in Roundup, Montana.
Yeehaw!
Check the map to find that. And I work with insurance agents on getting their marketing done right. Boom.
Okay.
Excited.
I love it.
My favorite food is chips and salsa. My favorite drink is
respect
Diet
that.
Coke and to be honest with you, Diet Peach Snapple. But then Kim Kardashian was all, oh my God, pink Diet Snapple, peach tea Diet Snapple is life. And I was like, girl, I was doing that way before you. And so now people are like, oh, because Kim. And I'm like, no, I think Kim saw my post.
Be like,
was
Kim who?
Oh,
Who's
Yeah.
Kim? I don't know.
yeah.
That was just
I'm
the
like,
marketer in you.
so-
She saw it and she's like, oh,
You don't
Peach
strike
Snapple.
me. You don't strike me as somebody that's following Kim Kardashian's trends. So it's all good.
What's that supposed to mean?
It just means
Please
she's
not.
not freaking Kim K. Hey, here's one thing that I want the audience to know. Right before we planned to do this, we're trying to schedule the time, and Sandra says, yeah, I can do 2:30 if that works for you, but I'm going to be in my car if that's okay. And I said, Sandra, I would not want you any other place than in your car, because literally I don't think I've ever seen you do a webinar or a training or anything not from your car. So what is it like to not have a house and live out of your car?
In Montana.
It's got to be cold
they don't
right
call
now.
it homeless anymore. It's a trending thing where it's a lifestyle choice.
Oh, yeah,
That's
for
what all the
sure.
kids
You're a
are doing.
nomad.
No, so here's the deal, Brad, and this is something I've been working on for about a year now, is we have to come up with a term for a stay-at-home mom that runs a full-time business.
For real.
And not a business that contributes to the family's income, but that, I'm a big income producer in our family, right? If you're talking about it like an office. And it's so
How
new
many
that
millions?
there's not
I
even
think
a
the people are
fucking
wondering.
word for
How
it.
many millions are we
Right?
talking? How many millions?
Well, don't want to flex on TV. But
That's for the next
but
interview.
no, like if you think about it, there's not even a word for it.
Agreed.
Right? And
Yeah.
and those of
No,
us
I
that
think
are
there
doing
is.
it, we are.
It's like this hashtag boss babe.
Yeah, I don't like that. I really don't. We'll get into that for in a second too.
I can't wait.
But because I'm
crying
home
already.
with my son all the time, it is harder to schedule me on a podcast if you want me in a podcast, situation.
Until you get to Florida,
so
which
I
we
do
were just
take-
talking about.
Yeah, I do take a lot of calls from my car. I do a lot of things without video on. I'm a firm believer that 90% of the Zoom meetings can actually be a phone call, right? But this is what I do. My son's in daycare. Look, he's actually in this daycare.
What's that on the
right
ground?
here. Snow.
We don't have that here.
But he goes to preschool twice a week for 2.5 hours. And
I'm
that's,
listening.
No, he's
that's
not.
just what I do.
I love that.
I'm nimble.
Yeah.
I love it, and it actually inspires me to be more nimble, as you say, right? Because I am a person that, you know, to be getting work done, I feel like I got to be in front of my computer, but my phone is like a little mini computer. So I've been a lot more productive on the road and in the cars and things like that. Thanks to you, Sandra. I owe it all to you. So
what Brad's really saying is that he's really tightly wound.
Yes,
he needs to loosen up a little bit.
That's true. That's one of the reasons for this podcast. Well, listen, I'm excited to have you on because you've done a lot with me and for me and you know, all of that good stuff over the last, I don't know, 4-6 weeks or however long we've been kind of working together on some different stuff. And, you know, I think that the value that you're bringing to the insurance industry really hasn't been seen from a organic marketing and even beyond the organic marketing, just a marketing strategy that you bring. So I'm, like I said, excited to have you on. We're not going to go down the insurance rabbit hole because, as you know, we don't talk about insurance here, but I do want to get into the marketing side of things. Where did you, like, as far as your background, I mean, do you have a marketing degree? Have you just studied this a lot? Where did you get it from? Because you do obviously have a knack for marketing.
So I've done a lot of different things in my life. I'm excited about life. I love to learn about things. In my 20s, I got involved in the team roping industry, you know, cowboys and roping. And I helped start the Wrangler Team Roping Championships, which in our first year grew to exactly grew to the third largest team roping association really quickly. And I learned a lot about guerrilla marketing and grassroots efforts and customer service and building a brand as you go. So I did that. I took another job and went to work for a television program called The Rope and Show. I lived down in Texas, so I learned a lot about video editing and having a television program on cable. And really, I learned a lot about, you know, working with people's egos and selling things, selling experiences. I
like that.
And
that's why you do so well with Brad.
Really crazy things. As all of us have been through, right? Then we had the crash of 2008, which hit the equine industry about 2 years later. So I came back and finished my degree. And what was funny was I came back and I was like, well, I've got my dad said I had to get a grown-up job. So I was studying elementary school. I was going to be a teacher, I'd be a terrible teacher for children. And I knew
I was going to say you're a great teacher, though.
Yeah, but not for kids. I'm kind of a hard ass, right? You've heard me. I'm like, really? That's what you want to do? Like, can you imagine me saying that to a 3-year-old or a 3rd grader? For sure,
absolutely.
You want to be a what? No
Tough
way.
Love.
I'm walking into the registrar's office, no idea what I'm going to do. I'm feeling pretty lost, and there's this pink piece of paper laying on the ground, and it said, "Change your major to public relations." And I was like, all right. I literally took it into my advisor and I was like, this paper I just found on the floor said to change my major to public relations. And I fell in love with the public relations side of marketing, which this is something I really haven't talked about. I'm glad that you asked.
Boom.
Because the way that I coach and the way that I approach marketing really has a lot of public relations roots to it. Creating the narrative, creating the story, telling the story. And then the marketing is kind of secondary in the way that I coach, right? I talk a lot about building up your following and telling people, building that know, like, and trust with people. So there's a lot of public relations that happens in the way that I coach. Fast forwarding, I went to a few different jobs. I'm a terrible employee. And like everybody else, I kind of fell into insurance. I've done sales. I've managed an office. I've eventually bought my own book of business. And then 6 months into us owning our business, my husband was diagnosed with a brain tumor.
Wow.
He's doing great now, but we sold the business and I went into full-time digital marketing from there. And I've ran the gamut. Again, I like to learn. I like to know how everything works together. So I did paid ads. I did white labeling. I did some coaching in different programs. And about a year ago, I really kind of stepped into coaching on my own. End of sentence.
I love it. I love it. And actually, one of the things that you said very early on, which I picked up on, and your entire story kind of is a great example of that, is that you talk about building a brand as you go. And I think a lot of people struggle with, they feel like they have to have the entire roadmap built out. They have to have certain stuff in line. And I think they call it analysis by paralysis, essentially. And what you talked about, I think, is the biggest struggle that a lot of people have, not even just in business, but in life, is that they have to feel like they have everything mapped out before they do it. When in fact, just put your feet in the fire and figure it out as you go. And it sounds like you not only teach that, but you've applied that in your actual life and your career as well.
Yes, I love to, the baptism by fire, talking about, I know that you're big in crypto, right? Like,
yes.
Does anybody fully understand crypto, right? Like the people
if they
that are
do, they're lying to you.
Are like, yeah, it's the people that are like, this looks like fun. Let's try it out. Let's do it.
Let's try it out.
That's right.
Which is what we're doing with these suckers right here, which we'll talk about in a minute. But I do want to. You said kind of tying everything together, and the first thing that popped in my head was when we were sitting at the Digital Frontier workshop there, the insurance growth workshops in Austin, and we've got a piece of paper with all of the different things that I'm doing and trying to piece it together, and that's what we're doing. So it is funny because that's exactly what I needed some help with, and that you've brought to the table is just being able to kind of make sure that everything is flowing together and everything is cohesive, which can be difficult when you're talking about me, because I've got I'm doing so many
an understatement.
Different things all the time, all insurance related for the most part. But, I just have fun trying new things and, failing forward, if you will. So that's even what this is. But I think you are really good at making the different components of the marketing plan work together to achieve a common goal, which can be extremely difficult when you're talking about just insurance, right? You're going after, if you're an agency owner, because you're out going after agents, you're going after clients. You've got a marketing plan for agents. You've got a marketing plan for clients. You've got, acquisition on both sides, and you've got to really have a brand that ties that all together. And so, yeah, I appreciate all the help you've given me, and certainly, you own that space. What is your I am statement, Sandra Gebhardt? You had to know that I was going to bring that up. Come on. I know you don't love mine, but let's hear yours.
We're working on yours.
Yeah.
I am the best digital marketing coach in the insurance space, and nobody cares more about each individual student winning more than I do.
Smooth. Very, very smooth.
Impressive.
I'm still learning how to work the soundboard, and plus I got these things here, so it's like, but that was pretty cool, right?
I love it. And the I am statements are something that I'm really, if you see me coming up at the WIN conference or Medicare Con or
TEDx, son.
Or
TEDx.
Yeah.
Billings, right? Freaking doing a TED Talk. That's really cool. That's cool.
We're going to be talking a lot about I am statements. I can't wait for the TEDx to come out.
How do you get into a
so
TED Talk?
cool.
How do you get into a TED Talk? Like how did you what happened there?
Well, I have to be very specific that it's a TEDx talk.
TEDx.
Okay, the
sorry.
TED Talks are for the big boys.
For the billionaires. For Jeff Bezos.
Honestly, you guys, people are going to be like, "Oh, this is bullshit." I got it because of the way that I do my networking online. People reached out to me when they approved the TEDx talk and said, we think that you would be a good candidate, because every time they turn around, there I am. I'm omnipresent. I haven't networked in my community in person in years, but I'm still very active with people. I still check in with people. I ask them how I can help them grow their business. So I'm always top of mind. Just can't shake me, can you, Brad?
I mean, everywhere I go, there you are.
And I got to say, as somebody who, I mean, we've had a few brief interactions before this, but like, I've seen you over Facebook for months and months, and probably close to a year. And I was just always like, who is this person? Like, she's somebody, because she's everywhere. And anybody who's anybody in the industry always talked about you. And I was just like, man, this is a somebody.
Wow, that's quite the compliment too.
And to me, like, that just goes to show that, like, not only do you know how to market yourself, but like, that's something that you can bring to clients as well too, which I think's cool. But to me, not the craziest, but the most impressive thing about it is, like, you've been given every hurdle, it seems like, outside of work to not be successful. Like you said, you're don't want to say a stay-at-home mom, but like you're a stay-at-home mom. You've got a husband who's dealt with some major medical issues, and like you found a way to just keep pushing forward. And to me, that's more impressive than anything, is that every adversity that's come to you, it seems like you've just blown past it and not worried about it, and continue to strive and do what you're passionate about, which I think shows in your work.
Well, thank you.
Let me add to that, Sandra, let me add to that and just say this, because I always have to add, you know that, but
of course.
The thing is you don't hear her, like, she just said that this is one of the first times she's told that story and stuff. You don't hear, that's not necessarily built into her marketing plan, right? Which sometimes gets old and overplayed, right? It's your tragedy. Your comeback story is awesome, right? I mean, I've shared mine many times, but like, she's a badass still. That's what I love. It's like, you're still like, you're not like, yeah, and I went through this, and this, and now here I am. It's like, no, I'm just, here I am, you know, like, what's up?
Yeah. You let your work speak for itself. It's awesome.
Sandra G.
Yeah. Rocking some J's probably.
One of my students called me Sandy G one time, and I was like, "Oh,
no way,
I'll make that a thing."
Sandra G.
I was like, I feel a little gangster right now. My 90s is kicking in.
It's great.
Sandy G here with the mic. What up,
You are gangster. So the TEDx talk, right? Give us a preview of the TEDx talk. How I mean, I saw you sent in the final draft. I know you can't share too much with it, but I mean, is it along the lines of what you've been doing? What
a pro. She even mutes her mic when she's got a cough.
Did she really?
Yeah.
That was cool.
What a pro.
Still pulling through that. You know, the TEDx, it's really funny how I ended up presenting at so many conferences and stuff, because I had landed this TEDx talk. I had this story I wanted to share. And once it got approved, that was 2 years ago, you guys. It's been moved twice because of COVID. So they're like, yeah, we're going to approve your idea. You can't talk about this until the
for
TEDx
2
talk.
years.
So now I'm like, okay, well, I've announced a ton of team ropings and stuff. I'm very comfortable on a mic, but taking your ideas and presenting them in front of people, as you know, Brad, can be, you know, you need to practice it. So I was like, all right, well, I'm going to go be a public speaker. So I started going to events, and then other people have asked me to speak at their events, and I just closed a huge deal where I got paid pretty well, and I'm super excited about that. I'll be announcing that later this week.
Why don't you announce it here first? It's not live. You're good.
Yeah, maybe I will.
It'll be next. It'll be next, like, you know, Monday, Tuesday, till someone finds out.
But I set out this goal.
I should have said close.
In March of last year, I wanted to speak on 6 stages, have 6 stages booked by the end of the year. Blew past that goal, but I'm not able to talk about the TEDx stuff, so I had to come up with new ideas and share my marketing stuff. So that's been crazy in and of itself, because it was just born out of necessity of wanting to speak in front of audiences. The TEDx talk coming up March 5th, and I'll give you guys a link. I'm actually going to gather people's names and emails if you want to get a copy of it when it comes out.
For sure.
I'll email it over to you. And I'm going to talk a lot about being authentically you, about being able to step into your own light and tell your story from the front seat of your car in the parking lot of Wise Wonders, and feeling 100% confident in doing that.
Love it.
I took a couple lefts and rights there.
Doesn't it look a little funny on the screen?
Yeah. I mean, you always look a little funny, so that makes sense.
Give me a sound bite, like a breaking news. Okay.
Someone just shot a fuel tank. It was into a fuel tank, and the fuel tank just went. So that's good enough.
Breaking news. Gunfire. I will be presenting to the Emeritus Group, their top 50 agents in the country in March.
Come on.
That's awesome.
That's so sick.
They
Very cool.
paid to bring me in, and
Should have wrote more freaking
super
Emeritus,
excited about
man.
that.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Or is it specifically on the group side or the individual side? Is it the dental? Is it what top 50? Do you know?
I believe overall.
Doesn't really matter,
was
right?
my understanding.
That's so cool.
But,
That's awesome.
I'm super excited. And what's the first thing that happens, right? I'm really excited that it's coming off of my TEDx, because the first thing that happens is, those self-doubts start coming in, right? Like, I'm picturing a room of a bunch of men in suits and ties, and I'm walking into my hoodie like, what up, guys? Let's talk marketing. Right?
How do you overcome that, though? Let's uncover that real quick. How do you overcome that? Because we've all felt it. I feel it all the time. I know Sean gets super nervous on this podcast. Don't tell anybody, but he's shaking right now. But how do you overcome the nerves and more importantly, the nerves? Fuck the nerves. It's the self-doubt. It's the voice in the back of your mind that's telling you you're not good enough to speak at this thing. You shouldn't be. What have you done? What blah blah blah. So how do you overcome that?
One thing is the alter ego effect. If you have not read that book, did you read it, Brad?
I'm reading it now.
Awesome.
Jeez, you just sent it to me like 3 days ago. Do you think I'm like a power reader?
It's an excellent book. For me, I still when I take the stage, I still battle with the nerves. Depending on who's in the room, right? That's my kryptonite. Is so and so is here. I'm worried that they're going to think I'm stupid, right? And I've spent a ton of time. Really, it's putting the time in to listen to the books, to research things, to work with mentors, to work with therapists, to work with people to break these patterns that we've had in our lives, our whole lives, right?
Yeah.
You've heard me say before, especially the I am statement. You were there for that presentation in Dallas, or Austin rather, where it's really, really hard for people to come up with an I am statement, because you're not supposed to be braggy. You're not supposed to front, right? You're not supposed to brag on yourself or be too confident, but you need to be sort of confident, but not too confident, because now you're cocky, right? And we all have heard that growing up.
It's like, what the fuck, really man? What do I do?
Yeah, it's really hard to break out of that a little bit, or it's not a little bit, a lot.
Right.
And one thing that I've started doing was a recommendation from the Merwinator, Tony Merwin. So
the man himself.
Before I spoke, I was using my old sports way of hyping myself up, right? Like a little bit of music. I was like, like dancing, like shadow boxing, right? Like I'd pace around.
Doing some Tae-Bo.
Yeah, I was very
smack yourself in the face a couple times. Sniffing salts.
Battle, that battle mentality. And what Tony and I were talking about, he's like, you're already anxious and you're amping yourself up. Well, in sports, we can physically get that back out, right? And I know presenters that they're able to just kind of cage that and then they shoot it out on the stage. For me, what I've started doing is actually, per Tony, is a minute of just meditation. And calming myself down, so I'm not adding on to that anxiety.
Yeah. Smoking a joint, just.
But you see people all the time that get themselves really hyped up. So really, what it is getting an understanding of who you are, what your weaknesses are, and not hiding from your weaknesses, embracing them.
Yeah,
getting out
centered.
How could I overcome them?
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
That's what Bernie's going through right now. my dog's in boarding school right now. He suffers from some extreme anxiety, and that's what the trainer said. He's like, we just need to learn how to get him centered. I'm like, oh, okay.
Bernie, stop hyping yourself up.
Yeah.
Okay. You got to do some more meditation.
He's like a foot tall. He's got to try to hype himself up as much
Can you
as he
imagine
can.
him in the ohm position? Because he's like a
basset hound.
He's a basset hound, so he's long and short. Imagine him just sitting on his butt, sitting up.
He does sit up. Believe it or not, when he can balance himself on his butt. Sitting up.
Man, we just went from something so serious, like overcome self-doubt. Dogs in boarding school.
That's right.
I love it.
I think it's serious.
That's what it is.
Sean is actually, he's over here he's like, I miss Bernie.
Man.
It's been a day and a half.
It's heartbreaking.
I'll be honest with you. Ashley's first thing when she saw that, she was like, boarding school to help with anxiety. I feel like that's going to give him more anxiety. So I hope it works. But I feel like boarding school for me, if I have anxiety and then like, okay, we're going to send you to boarding school, I'll be like, no, that gives you so much anxiety. Like,
yeah, but he's also a dog. He doesn't know what boarding school is. So.
You didn't ask him if he wanted to go first?
No.
All right, fair enough. Man, oh man, I've been crying this whole episode. It's great. It's so good. I don't know if
So
these bright
emotional.
lights in my face.
It's all the
or
Botox
Sandra's
you
just
got.
So funny. Yeah, the Botox that I don't got. Oh man, so good. But seriously, that is an awesome way to overcome self-doubt and to just, really, the whole theme of everything we talked about, I feel like, is really just being your authentic self, being true to you. And I've talked about this in another episode here, or maybe on a training I did or whatever. But the last 12 months, and Sean even mentioned it, right? You like paralysis by analysis. You don't know who you want to be. There's somebody watching this right now who is like, all right, Brad and Sandra and Sean, they said I got to be my authentic self. So who is my authentic self, right? Like now they're like analysis by paralysis again, or paralysis by analysis again. They're like, okay, well, I don't know who my authentic self is. So how do I start? Because I don't know who. And so my advice, and I had an idea of who I was kind of, but then I really started to get on video. I started to speak at events. I started to do things that, challenge the status quo of my life. And I found my voice. I found some of that authentic self. And that's this outlet of Insurance Sucks podcast is more of my authentic self. And so, there's somebody out there that's watching this. It's like, I don't know who my authentic self is, right? Well, put yourself out there, okay, as whatever, right? Sandra Gebhardt, the master digital marketer, Sean Noonan, the crypto god, right? Like whatever, just start to put yourself out there. And you'll immediately know the things that are for you and not for you, right? Think about it like trying new foods. Like you try a new food, you're like, whoop, that ain't me, right? So you're learning how to be that authentic self. And over the last 12 months, I've really spent a lot of time accidentally discovering that. So did you ever go through a phase, Sandra, or even Sean, did you guys ever go through a phase where like you didn't, who do I want to be or who am I? Like trying to discover that? Have you always just known I'm Sandra Gebhardt, whatever type of rodeo I do and, whatever, like I'm just a badass. Have you always been like that or did it take, was it a journey to get there?
It's been a knife fight getting here. I was literally voted most eager to please by my high school class. My name literally translates to helper of mankind. I have always put everybody else before me. I have always listened to that you're a bit too much. Your hair's never right? Like, and you've tried to
conform to that.
Yes, and that's part of what I'm going to talk about on March 5th in the TEDx
that's so good.
Because I'm also I'm extremely competitive. I'm not a perfectionist, but when I put things out, I was living in analysis by paralysis, right? Like I don't have the right wardrobe, so I'm going to just not just wear sweats every day, right? That's an extreme example, but if I couldn't get things to where everybody liked it, then I was like, well, it's not worth my time. There's this one guy named CP Lee, little cowboy dude, who we didn't even like each other, right? But the fact that he didn't like me bugged me so much that I spent years trying to get him to like me. I would like buy him a drink if I saw him somewhere, right?
I know you hate me, but I got you this drink.
Right.
Yeah, I was so ingrained into if I could just make peace with everybody, then I could help emotionally stabilize the world, right? Like literally, that's how deep I was into this shit. And it's taken me, again, if you're listening and you're like, I don't even know where to start. It's a lot of work. Yeah. But once you hit it, once somebody unfriends you on Facebook and you're like, whatever, I've got 1,000 people trying to be my friend right now, right?
How do you know that happens, right?
Because you got a message them and it's like, add friend.
Yeah.
Again?
Every now and then I'll get in and it'll be like 5,000 one day and then it'll be like 498. And that used to drive me nuts. I'd be like, who are the two people that left me? What happened? What did I say? And then I go back through my feed and I'd be like, ooh, somebody might have taken this. Because I'm in control of everybody else's feelings, right? It's my job to make sure that you feel important, Brad.
Shit.
That Eric feels like he's doing a really good job.
I lost 10 friends. I had 4990, and now I was at 5'2", and now I'm 4990.
And it's funny because I'm the exact opposite. I couldn't tell you how many friends I have on Facebook. I don't care. I'm not trying to please anybody. The people I'm trying to please and make happy are like the people that are important to me in my life.
Says
like,
the guy that's engaged to be married. He says, I'm not trying to please anybody.
But the people important in my life, those are the people that like I care about. So like,
oh, you're making me
when I'm me, like,
I know you're talking about
and
me,
put
so
myself out there, like I'm me exactly who I am. And if like you don't like it, too bad, because I know my inner circle accepts who I am. They don't have to like everything I do, but they accept who I am.
Yeah.
And you're able to actually pour in to more people meaningfully.
Yes.
If you truly can take care of yourself. It's all the way back to that analogy we hear all the time. If you're on the airplane, put your own oxygen mask on first. The first time I heard that, I was 7 years old. And I was like, there is zero chance. I'll never forget it. I was like, I would never put my own mask on first. At 7 years old,
then you're gonna die.
I was thinking that on an airplane. I was like, I will help every single person on this plane before I put mine on. I'm not selfish, right? We're not supposed to be selfish.
Yeah, that is. I mean,
but you can't help people if you're dead.
That is the ultimate like mind fuck, though. Really, I mean, people are so adamant about helping everybody else when they don't even have their own life together, because it's easier to help somebody else, right, achieve or get or whatever we're talking about, than it is to help yourself. Right?
It's easier to address other people's problems than
sure.
Yeah, it can be a cop out as well.
There was a book that wrote about that, right? There was a plank in one eye and a splinter in another eye. You guys know that book? It's the freaking Bible. What the heck is wrong with you heathens? Oh my gosh.
We don't have enough time for that conversation.
The world. Oh my gosh. We're not going to get into religion, but geez Louise. Go to church, y'all. Holy smokes.
Never heard this story. I went to Christian schools for way too long and never heard that story.
It's the Bible verse. It literally says before you point out the splinter in somebody else's eye, why don't you focus on the plank that's in your eye? Like, I mean, geez, Louise, don't make me look it up. You guys just continue the conversation. I'll read it to you in a second. I gotta do this. This is why we need Eric to be pulling stuff up like on the computer while we're splinter.
Pull up scripture.
Splinter and eye.
Maybe we do need a little Jesus in our life.
Ready? I'm not going to read the King James version. Okay, we
don't want to use the official version?
No, I don't want to use the KJV.
Yeah, my grandpa's like,
why, Sandra, do you look at the speck of sawdust in your brother's eye and pay no attention to the plank in your own eye?
Oh, see, you threw me off with splinter. If you would have said sawdust,
Matthew 7:3. Matthew 7:3. Okay, pay attention in church, y'all. Oh man! All right, so 33 minutes. Wow, we've been going. This has been good stuff.
Got my Bible with me.
Oh my gosh!
Wow! She called you out.
What kind of paraphernalia is in that zip-up Bible?
What's in the flask?
My goodness. She's like, okay, I got to take this stuff out. Oh, no, she does have it down there. I see it.
Yeah.
Wow. We turn to the Matthew chapter 7, verse 3, and then I want you to study on that one for a little while. But seriously, it is so true. It's easy to point out the speck of sawdust in somebody else's when you have, a plank in your own eye. It's just natural. We all do it, right? I'm not above it. Nobody's above it. We all do it. But working on yourself is the best. Like, you want to change the world, change yourself, right? Start with yourself. That's the whole deal. Yep. All right, as we wrap this up, do you want to know what this is, Sandra? You didn't even ask. I put it here as bait, and you literally didn't ask. Okay.
I was like a 2. Okay. At the beginning, I was like,
you were kind of listening.
But
yeah. Hello.
Okay, hold on.
It's a 1990 cell phone.
Yeah, take a guess.
I'll be a better guest. Why, Brad? What is that white box?
Wow. Well, you mean this right here? This right here is an Awair Element. This is an indoor air quality monitor for homes, businesses, and more. And this episode is brought to you by Awair. No, but it should be. I just bought 10 of these things, right? They're going to make me $6 a day. That's $60 a day for just having this thing. Hopefully, maybe more, maybe less. Just for having this thing set up and hooked to Wi-Fi, and they pay you in planets. Okay, which is a cryptocurrency. So now you know, Sandra. I know you were wondering the whole time. Don't act like you didn't see it. Everybody in the audience out here was watching. They were like, "What the heck? Are they going to talk about what's on the table or not?" But yeah, that is the Awair element, and it's a really cool thing. So.
Gonna be mining some planets.
Yeah, we'll have to talk more about it. But yeah, it just sits here and it monitors the air quality. We found out that Sean says the air quality in my office is 79 out of 100.
Oh, we're at 84 because I think we got away from the air fresheners that give you cancer. So
we're up to 84. Yeah. So it is safe. If you were wondering if you can work in my office, it is safe to work in my office. You're more than welcome. Good air quality in here. We got 84 out of 100, so we are passing. But the one question, Sandra, that we all have to know before we get out of here, okay? Oh, wait till you unmute it. She is really good at that. She's like, oh, mute, unmute. Like, great.
Waiting for the video to go off and back on. Like,
what's wrong button?
Lag.
All right, the one question we all have to know, right? Drum roll. Who's going to win the Super Bowl, Sandra?
Oh,
I knew this was going to happen.
I think that kid with the Bengals, he has a chance to be the first person to win a Heisman and then like the Rookie of the Year in the Super Bowl, right?
Yep.
So I guess him. Honestly,
Go Bengals.
Every girl that grew up in the 90s is who's winning the Super Bowl because because
the halftime
show is for us.
That
will
is
be the
true.
That
Who is it? I don't
have
even
to
know.
figure
Oh man.
and we're all going to be white girl wasted.
It's Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre, freaking. I mean, it is a hell of a lineup.
Why is it girls in the 90s? What about the guys who grew up in the 90s?
The gangster. We got
Mary J. Blige,
mom.
Snoop Dogg, Kendrick Lamar, Eminem, Dr. Dre. All I keep thinking of is Dr. Dre 2001 when I was I was 11 years old. Yeah, Sean, it took me a second. Give me a minute. Okay, I was 11 years old. And I had the album Dr. Dre 2001 when I was 11, and it was like, I mean, that is a dirty album. Nobody should be listening to it at 11, but I was so happy. I was like, yeah, motherfucker. And now it turned out so great. See? Right? So,
yeah.
Just took a few years of Bible school.
All the 90s kids in general are going to be who.
So your vote is the Cincinnati Bengals.
Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengal Cats.
I'd like to see that kid accomplish something kind of cool. I'm excited for the halftime show. And I have a sneaking suspicion that Tupac's going to show up. That he's finally going to be like, y'all, I'm here.
Yeah.
Psych.
I think that could happen. All right, so you heard it here first. Cincinnati Bengals are going to win. Put your freaking bets in now because Sandra says
Tupac.
Because Sandra says they're going to win, and also Tupac will be there. I think there's a line for that too. I think the odds are like plus 500,000 at least. So put $1 on it, see what happens. Thanks for tuning in, y'all.
Welcome back, guys. We're going to go ahead and start a new segment. We're going to get into some hot topic stuff, and nothing hotter right now going on than the Super Bowl and NFL playoffs.
I don't know. Tom Brady retiring is pretty hot too, but we can talk Super Bowl first.
That's just because you have a man crush on him.
Well, now, and I can't wait to talk about Tom Brady and that news, but the first things first, the Bengals are in the Super Bowl, which is like the first time in how long? I mean, I don't even know.
I believe it was 89. And the reason why I know that, my fiance, huge Ohio person, she's not even a football fan, but the Bengals are her team. She refused to cheer for the Bengals the entire playoffs because they always lose. And I told her, in overtime, when they're kicking the field goal, I go, I think it's safe to cheer for your team finally.
81 and 88?
88.
88. Okay. 81 and 88. So in the 80s, they went twice. Both times lost, it looks like. The Bengals fell 20-0 at halftime in 88, which is crazy. I think that the same thing is going to happen this year. The Rams are going to demolish the Bengals. But what we were talking about before we got going is the big thing with the NFL is it's so freaking rigged. I like whatever side the money is on, that's who's going to win no matter what. And I think that there is going to be a lot of sharp action on the Bengals just because good odds. Joe Burrow showed some freaking crazy whatever last week.
And he's lovable.
I also saw 3 different people. We talked a couple weeks ago about sports trading cards. I saw 3 different people, like they're ballers. They're all doing really well. One of them was insurance. One of them's a big crypto guy. And then one of them's just a trading card guy. All of them last week posted picture of their Joe Burrow's cards. They're Cincinnati Bengals, Joe Burrow's rookie season type card. Like that card's going to be probably worth some money, but
no doubt, especially after he wins.
Oh man, I think it's possible, but the Rams are favored by 3.5. Okay, the money line is plus 155 for the Bengals. I think it's going to start to move heavy in that direction, right? More and more people are going to be betting on the Bengals, and that line's going to come down, and that's what I'm waiting for. I think it could go the opposite too, though. Who knows? I'm just speculating here. This is just total speculation. We're not sportscasters or anything like that, but
and heck, I barely even watch football.
It should be interesting. It should be interesting for sure. I think the Rams are going to dominate the Bengals overall. It's just going to happen.
I think Joe Burrow is a winner. I turned the game on. It was 21-3.
I'm curious to know what you think, right? Who do you think is going to win the Super Bowl? You do not count if you're in Ohio, okay? Because we all know that you're going to root for your team. And likewise, if you're in California, you're probably a liberal, so whatever.
But California, I mean, the Rams are new to them. I mean,
yeah, no, it's in LA too. It's basically a freaking home game,
back-to-back years.
It's a home game for the Rams. So if you're betting, I would probably bet on the Rams. That is not financial advice. It's not even betting advice. But if you're a betting person, I would probably go with the Rams. What I would rather talk about, because I'm freaking blown away and also heartbroken. In other news, right? Tom Brady freaking retires.
It was a wonderful day.
What, did you see this freaking statement?
I did.
The statement is ridiculous. First of all, I'm not going to read the whole thing. The full transcript is on his Instagram. It's also all over the internet. But this portion here, this is difficult for me to write, but here goes. I'm not going to make that competitive commitment anymore. I've loved my NFL career now, and now it's time to focus my time and energy on other things that require my attention. Here's my favorite part. To my Bucs teammates, blah, 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 blah. To all the Bucs fans, blah, 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 blah. To the city of Tampa, blah, 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 blah. To the Glazer family. To the Bucs general manager. To my head coach, Bruce Arians. To this, to that, to the other.
Fuck you, New England.
Fuck you, Patriots. Nothing in there about the Patriots, which is great.
It because I'm a lifelong Tom Brady hater.
I'm a lifelong Patriots hater, and unfortunately, Tom Brady. So here's my dilemma, right? Tom Brady at the Patriots hated him, right? It's like, fuck the Patriots. You know, Tom Brady, you're lumped in there too, because any team from Boston, horrible, right? The Red Sox, the Patriots, trash. Like, just, they can be good teams, but total trash fans, total trash to root for.
Worst fan base,
worst fans
sports.
ever.
Yeah.
So Tom Brady unfortunately got wrapped into that, right? Now Tom Brady comes to the Bucs, and I'm like, man, I can't hate Tom Brady. And then Tom Brady wins a Super Bowl, and I'm like, I love Tom Brady, right? I'm a Tom Brady fan. I'm a Bucs fan. I've been a Bucs fan my whole life. I live here. So Tom Brady, goes into next season, takes us pretty far, and then retires. And it's like, damn it, I was just starting to like you, Tom. Like, I literally just started to develop this, newfound love for Tom Brady.
Yeah, you always crush.
You have to respect the guy. I mean, the guy is incredible.
No doubt. No doubt.
And you have to respect his talents, his drive, his efforts, and it's got to be exhausting to go 22 years in the NFL and being competitive that whole time. I think I listened to something the other day that said he had two seasons with single-digit wins.
Incredible.
Every other season, he had double-digit wins.
Incredible. And that is, so as a lifelong Tom Brady hater, still hate him to this day, never because I thought he wasn't a quality quarterback. I mean, he's definitely statistically the greatest of all time. I will still go on record saying I thought Peyton Manning was a better quarterback. Brady had more tools, and he motivated people better. I think that you wanted to win because you didn't want Tom mad at you because he lost. I think.
Agreed.
He motivated people out of fear of losing, I think. But what this proved to me...
Do I motivate people out of fear of losing?
No. What this proved to me more so than anything, that my reason why I hated Brady still stands to this day. It's more clear than ever that he is a whiny little bitch. And
I don't think so, man.
I do. He complains on the field. He cries to the refs constantly. He just expects the
best out of everybody.
But him not acknowledging the Patriots or anything New England shows that he is so spiteful about how things played out that he's being a little bitch. even Peyton Manning, who got basically cut from the Colts for Andrew Luck, still acknowledged the Colts when he retired.
He will 100%. He will 100% acknowledge the Patriots. Like come on.
But the fact that he put out an 8-tweet or 8-page.
Yeah, because
quote,
this is current, right? It would be like, I mean, it would just be like,
he's a whiny
it would just
bitch.
not make sense to bring up the Patriots in this. I'm happy he didn't, right? I'm very happy he did. He mentioned to agents Don Yee and Steve Dubin. He mentioned
no Bill Belichick,
personal
no Robert
trainer
Kraft.
Alex Guerrero. He mentioned every single. he very clearly mentions every single Bucs staffer and employee.
Are you trying to prove
even
my
down
point
to the
for
guys,
me?
even down to the guys handing out the popcorn and the drinks and the soft pretzels and everything else, down to the janitors cleaning the toilets and everything, right? Every single Bucs employee. But that's because it's relevant today.
Whiny little bitch. You're talking about your career and how you're walking away, and you can't even acknowledge the time that you had with the Patriots, which is why he is the
maybe
greatest of
he
all
hates
time.
the Patriots too. That's
He
probably
might,
why.
Very possible, but don't hate the Patriots. Fans didn't do anything to you.
I have always believed in the sport of football is an all-in proposition. Okay,
Whiny little bitch.
If 100%, I think I think insurance. We're not going to talk insurance, right? We can't talk insurance. Never mind. We can't talk insurance. Okay. But I think insurance is the same thing. All-in proposition. 100% competitive commitment isn't there. You won't succeed, and success is what I love so much about the game. And he's had a lot of it. There's a physical, mental, and emotional challenge every single day that has allowed me to maximize my highest potential. And I have tried the best these past 22 years. There's no shortcuts, right? That to me does not sound like a whiny little bitch.
You can't deny his competitive drive, his commitment to the game, and his commitment to get better. I mean, they talked about at the match when it was originally Phil Mickelson, Tom Brady versus Tiger and Peyton. Brady's over there doing wind sprints in the parking lot because he's got to get ready for the season. Like, he is absolutely committed to being the best person and best player that he could be. It's just like Kobe or Jordan or anybody who put in the extra effort. But when things don't go his way, he whines.
Well,
because he's gotten everything going his way. His life. He doesn't even make the most money in his household.
Sit there and say that because I know what it's like to be a winner like Tom Brady, and I know what it's like to have everything go your way, and I know what it's like when something doesn't. And it's you got to. I mean, listen, it's tough, right? As a winner,
I'm glad in your mind you put yourself on the same level as Tom Brady.
I'm glad you caught that. But seriously, I can empathize with where he's coming from as somebody who's constantly getting his way. And I mean, listen,
he's got nothing else to prove in the game of football.
Definitely.
I mean, 45 years old, just basically probably going to win the MVP.
Football career behind him, right? He does make mention of all his companies, right? We'll put the football career behind him. The future's exciting. I'm fortunate to have co-founded incredible companies like Autograph.io, Brady Brand. That's cool, right? Just Brady Brand, like TB12 Sports that I'm continuing to grow, blah, blah, blah. Outside of the obvious, what do you think's, next for TB?
He's going to do whatever Giselle wants him to do because Giselle's the breadwinner in that family. And that is the funny thing about Tom Brady. No matter how great he ever was on the football field, he was never going to make more money than his wife.
Yeah, but maybe that's also winning in his eyes. Maybe he won by he hit the freaking fiance. He hit the spousal lottery, right? He hit the spousal jackpot. Yep. I think he's going to go into broadcasting. I think we can maybe get him on the show. I think now is the time, if ever, that we can probably get him on the show. What do you say? Can we get Tom Brady on the show? Tag Tom Brady here. Tag Tom Brady here if you want to see him on the show. I'm sure he'll see it.
Yeah.
But I think he's going to go into broadcasting. I think he's going to give back to the game of football. I'm sure he'll be a prominent voice still in the sport. I would be crazy for him not to be. But I guess we'll see.
Yeah, first of all, I can't believe you didn't silent your phone going into this, but
it's all good. Business never stops.
I don't see him going into being an announcer. I think that's the easy route. I think everyone else has done it. He'll
Eli.
Yeah, well, of course. And they're somewhat entertaining to watch. Again, I hardly watch football, so I don't watch the extra stuff, but I think he'll pave the way more so than anything. And I think the TB12 fitness financial thing he's doing, I think that's ultimately going to be his main focus.
Also, TB12 apparel is dope, dude. I have a couple of shirts and they're fresh.
Fanboy. Such a fanboy.
They're TB12, like they're TB12 Tampa Bay shirts. So it's really just a Tampa Bay shirt with Tom Brady. But I want to hear from you guys. I want to know, one, who do you think is going to win the Super Bowl? Okay, drop it in the comments. Rams, Bengals. We'll make sure to get this episode out before the Super Bowl. So who do you think is going to win the Super Bowl? Two, what's Tom Brady doing next? Okay, what is Tom Brady doing after sports? Is he going to go into announcing? Is he going to start making NFTs of himself? I don't know. What is he going to do?
Well, he already does that, so he'll make more.
I mean, listen, why wouldn't you if you're Tom Brady?
Correct. No, he's a smart businessman. He's just no Giselle.
Can't go wrong. Oh, man. Well, I think we should wrap it up.
It sounds good. This was fun. Guys. Thanks so much for tuning into the Insurance Sucks podcast. We had an awesome time today. It was a lot of fun. Sandra Gebhardt, awesome guest.
Yeah, thank you, Sandra. Thanks for coming on.
She's amazing. She is the marketing queen. What does she call herself?
The badass marketer.
She's the best insurance marketer in the world. That's what I know. We talked football. We don't know who's going to win the Super Bowl yet, but we know it's going to be Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals.
Drop your picks in the comments. Like I said, do want to hear what you have to say.
Correct. Let us know what you think of Tom Brady's retirement. Yes, he's a whiny little bitch, but there are some huge fanboys out there just like Brad. And, leave a comment, subscribe to the video. Let us know what you guys are doing for passive income. We talked about the miners. We're doing helium as well, too, which we'll get into. We talked some crypto, but we want to hear from you guys. What do you find interesting? What are you doing on the side? What are you doing as passive income?
Sean wants to hear from you. Overall, I don't really give a shit. I'm having a blast doing this. So I hope you're having fun watching it. But we're having fun. So That's all that matters. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.